Oh boy.
今日は俺たちの貸し切りだ。帰んな。
この町を出て行ってくれないか。
Yeah. Interesting though. That voice acting though, the laugh. Authentic. God damn.
ダメだこいつ。あの程度の練に時間かかりすぎ。
俺のバカだ。離してくれ。
本人が負けたって言ってるだろ。
お前も一度俺を狩り炎の外へ出た。お前は負けだ。
あ、しまった。ちょっとタンマ、もう一回。やめとけゴン。
Love the lighting here. Look at this.
任せとけって。
He'll get it done.
どうした？今度は二人がかりか？
Ooh. Oh. Holy shit. Take us to Razor. Hey. That's good to see. That's good to see. Yes, let's go. Again, that beautiful theme. Oh.
へえ、ここにボスがね。
Yep, yep. Ah, it makes so much sense, right? Great shots, look at this. He just snapped right into game mode.
もし俺たちが負けたらどうなる？
特に何も。ここからお帰りいただくだけだ。
Ooh, sports, yeah.
Oh,
that's great. I mean, he does look like Guile, doesn't he?
なんだと？そんなのボクシングじゃねえ。安心しろよ。俺はこの拳だけ。それはオタクらのためのルールさ。
I think you can see there's a clear Guile inspiration there, right? Ooh.
あんたも放出系だろ。あんたの誤算はただ一つ。この俺の能力があんたより上だってこと。すげえ。あれは避けきれねえ。よし、ダウンだ。楽勝。
いや、相打ち。は？
God damn. I mean, it happened too quick for anyone else to. Yeah.
瞬間移動だよ。
Ah.
瞬間移動。
ショートアッパーの拳だけね。相手は最初から一撃必殺のカウンター狙いだもん。当然のなり。
I mean, I had no chance to actually spot it.
まずは俺たちの一生だな。
He's like the coolest gym teacher there is.
こいつらのレベルでは発祥は。
Yeah.
ならば。
さあ、次は俺だ。テーマは
Bit of footy.
待てゴン。
Yeah, he took notice.
お嬢さんが相手じゃ怪我をさせないように気をつけなきゃな。
リフティングで怪我？
念での攻撃がありだからな。手で球を触る以外はね。
なるほどね。
Go!
The outfits, though.
思ったより難しいですね。これ。
Okay, she's throwing it.
私の負けです。
じゃあ次は俺だ。
This should confirm it, if they are.
当たり前だ。覚悟しろよ、小僧。
けおい残った。
Oh, yeah.
あ、悪い。外に出ちまった。
なるほど、そういう。
Oh, that voice.
このメンバーじゃ勝てないと見るや。
Mm.
わざと負けて情報収集に切り替えるとはな。
下手にカードを入手したら狙われるわよ。
It's not easy getting that card, though. I mean,
俺たちにとってもこのカードはなるべく早く入手した方がいいんだ。
少しでも仲間割れの危険を回避するため。
その通り。
でもクローンを使っても一粒の海岸線のカード加減度枚数はたったの3枚。
right.
このイベントは 初めから仲間同士の争いの火種を抱えている。
And of course, Razor knows that too, right?
あんたが言ったあの言葉の意味。
Ah, yeah, okay.
最初わかんなくて考えたからね。
俺たち全員が勝つことを前提にしても最低あと4人の手だれがいる。理想はそいつらが11人組のパーティーってことだが、誰か心当たりはないか？
リストの名前だけで言ったら一番強いのは
No, 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 no. This is it. This is
でも
it.
クラピカが 100% 偽物だ。
Oh, they're gonna meet him.
じゃあ誰なんだろう。
まあ旅団の誰かだろうな。
そいつがゲームクリア以外の目的ならカード集めに興味がないのかも。
ああ、そうか。
こい
Yeah.
つ全然ゲームやる気ねえな。バカかおめえはよ。
Oh, look at
言うて
this.
そいつに直接聞くのか。あいつらが教えてくれるわけねえだろうが。ああ、バカですよ。
I've seen this
バカだから
before.
分かってても確かめたいの。じゃあ勝手にしろ。ああ、勝手にするさ。
大丈夫か？
日常茶飯事ですので。
She's been around long enough.
赤っぱにオン。クロロルシルフル。
The reunion. Here it comes. Okay, then. Oh, beautiful animation, right? Look at that. Swamp? Of course. He's butt ass naked, taking a bath.
まさか
Yeah, boys.
ひそか。
Jeez.
これは予期せぬお客さんだ。久しぶり。
No. Ah, testing them.
やっぱりそうだ。ずいぶん成長したんじゃないか。いい死に巡り会えたようだね。
Yeah, they did.
僕の
No, boys.
君たちはどんどん美味しく実る。
なんなんだ？
君かい？彼らの先生は。いや、そんな感じじゃないな。彼女か。
ここへ何しに来たの。
Oh.
さて、どうするか。
It's a cool look for him.
話
I like it.
この二人のことだ。雲との助念師の引き渡しを全力で阻止しにかかるだろうな。これ以上クロロとの戦いを
Right,
伸ばされるのも勘弁。
You'll figure it out, Hisoka. You're a master of
クロロを
this.
探してるんだ。クロロがクラピカにかけられたね。実は外す方法があるんだ。そんな時、雲の何人かがこのゲームに興味を持ってたことを思い出した。彼らならクロロの行き先に何か心当たりが
Okay.
あるんじゃないか。
See, it's kind of close enough. He's good.
この名前ならあっちからのアプローチも期待できるしね。
そっか。
It checks
あ
out,
い
right?
つはもともと旅団のふりをしてただけなんだ。
まさかその質問をするためだけにここへ来たわけじゃないだろう。
そうだよ。実は私たちできるだけ強い人を探してるんです。仲間になっていただけませんか？
Look at this.
いいけど。
あの方には何か近しいものを感じますもの。
この先にある恋愛都市
City of
に行くといいんじゃない？いろんな出会いが楽しめるから。
I bet.
強い人も見つかるかもしれないよ。
Oh, he did his hair. And his makeup.
嘘をついてるってどういうことだよ。
正確に言うと本当のことを言ってないって感じね。50年以上嘘つきやってるとわかるもんだろ。
50 years, okay.
なんかすげえ説得力あんな。
奴が何か隠している以上、身近に置いて様子を見るのも一つの手。何よりあいつかなり強いでしょ。
No, Hisoka. Brother, I cannot defend you. I cannot defend you from that.
みんなここにクリア目的で来てるんだろう。僕みたいな水強なプレイヤー
Yeah,
は少ないんじ
you
ゃ
got
ない？
that right.
やっぱりどうも何か隠してるわね。
確かに何か引っかかる。本当のことを言っていない。
Go on, kill. Think it out.
そこに何か辻褄の合わない矛盾がある。
Okay.
クロロの居所を聞くため雲のメンバーを探してここに来た。この言葉の中にその鍵が隠されている。
He knows that, of course, the gears are turning now. Oh, it's beautiful. Ah!
拾ってあげたら 知り合いになれるよ。
なしで大声出すわよ。
出すなら出せ
It's all
よ。
textbook.
誰も助けちゃくれないぜ。
Someone is.
ちょっと待ったその人の手を離すよりによってあんなベタな出会いに
Right,
引っかかって
textbook
んじゃね
cliche.
え。私なんかがカットモデルでいいんですか？
ぜひその綺麗な長い髪を切らせてほしい。
That time, that's not
こ
an
の街
act.
にいても意味ねえな。
ここなら退屈せずに済むのに。
退屈。このゲームの中に誰かを探しに来たとしたら、俺ならどうした？
Go on, go on.
まずはスペルカードの重要性に気づいたはずだ。ゴンとビスケが密かにあったの。
Right, at some
俺
point.
がハンター試験でここにいなかった時、つまり二人が修行でマサドラにいた時、密かはマサドラにいた。
Ah.
そう。普通ならマサドラから動かない。スペルカードを求めてほとんどのプレイヤーがやってくるから、本当に旅団の連中を探しているならマサドラから動かないはず。
That means, yeah,
退屈せずに済
he's been here before. He scoped it out, checked it out.
やることがない。つまり探していない。いや、もう探し終えている。
Damn, look at Kill go.
何を待ってる？決まってる。助念師。助念師はここグリードアイランドにいる。まだゴンには言えない。
Yeah, better keep it to yourself
こ
for
いつ
now.
は隠すのが下手だ。
仲間にするならやっぱり続けられると思うんだ。
Hey.
仲間にしないまでも一度会っておいてバインダーのリストに入れといた方が。
あっちの動向も知れて便利だもんな。
確かめることができる。
Oh.
ひそかバインダー見せてよ。ひそかがあったプレイヤーのリストの中に
It's so cute how you just requested it.
見てほしいんだ。
密かが画面を見せようとしなければ俺の考えが裏付けられる。
But remember, Hisoka, he's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
本当？
うんほらここ。
He's not hiding it.
旅団の名前がない。俺の考え
There should be, meaning he changed it.
やはり密かはただ奴らを探しているだけ。
じゃあひそかこれ唱えてくれる？
I love him.
交渉
I
は俺
love
た
him,
ちが
man.
やるから。
や
Ah,
っぱり便利。
texture surprise.
テクスチャー。
Yep.
密かの能力に見事に騙されたキルアたち。
Okay, so it looks like they are about to go meet up with Tazera and his crew, right? And I believe he had, how many did he have? I know he had more than two. He certainly had more than two people in his crew. No, yeah, I think it's four. Four, right? If you go back to that scene of them, you know, having that meeting with Genthuru, you know, the bomber and his people. You know, his two allies, and then of course the two fake ones as well. But yeah. So, you know, if they are to join in, you know, realistically speaking, yeah, most likely, you know, this just makes a lot of sense, right? To kind of bring Tazera back into it as well. Again, you know, he is the one who judged Gon and Killua, and you know, many of these others, including Bisky as well, right? So he'll remember Bisky as well once they do kind of come across each other. Actually, Hisoka is the only one he's not going to recognize, right? Because even the other guy, the guy who's got the short hair, whose name I still cannot quite, you know, execute. But I really like. But yeah, going back to my point from a little bit earlier, you know, essentially, I do expect Tazera and his group to, you know, join up. So that should give you 9, right? Yeah, 9. 4 of his, and then the 5 from our crew at the moment. So at the end of the day, that really should be enough, right? Yes, I know they need 15, but you don't really need all 15 to be able to actually, you know, compete, be competitive. As long as you have at least 8 of them that are competitive or are going to be able to be competitive, and then of course in this case 9, if indeed, you know, Tazera and his boys join up, then, you know, then you're still good, right? And the rest you can just kind of recruit. I'm sure they can easily offer them, you know, cards to make up the numbers, right? So they have 15 to qualify, you know, once again, to see Razor and his 14 devils. And then, of course, you know, Killua deciding to throw the remaining matches after, you know, realizing, okay, you know, the rest or the majority of this group of 15 is simply not, you know, equipped to compete in these matches against these specific opponents, right? Or these specific competitors. So he decided, okay, you know, it's a bit of a lost cause. Let's try to get something out of it. So, you know, at the minimum, they know about at least 8 of the matches or the types of sporting, competition that they do have to take a part in. So that's, that's not bad at all. They have a grasp of at least 8 of them, or at least half of them, right? So that's good. Again, Killua and his intelligence and his deduction skills are prominently featured throughout this episode, right? Yeah, he's really impressive. He continues to be impressive, doesn't he? There's a lot of really interesting internal monologue going on here, be it again him just being super, I don't know, super perceptive, being super proactive or super pragmatic, in these situations, and then also kind of looking out for Gon at moments as well, right? Because at one point he felt the need to kind of keep some of this information that he's kind of deduced to himself, right? Information that he's deduced about Hisoka, right? That's one of the I suppose standouts of this episode, right? Killua trying to figure out the inconsistency in Hisoka's story, right? Once again, Hisoka masterfully spins a narrative that has enough truth in it that it is believable, right? That it is believable. But yet, of course, Bisky knew something's a little bit off. And of course, she kind of claims to have years and years of experience as a fellow, liar, I suppose, right? Someone who is really quite prone to deception, right? And, even in this case, you see, or in this situation, you see that she's really kind of, leaning into that aspect of it, kind of hiding her abilities and capabilities, through this facade of being a young girl, right? The thing is, it was kind of clear that Hisoka knows that there is something off about her, right? The thing that's really cool to see here is that even though they are really quite suspicious of Hisoka, and I love how Gon and Killua are so conditioned to just immediately use Guile the moment she uses the pointing, right, the finger point. They immediately saw her spell it out. I think he's lying. So that's a cool little detail to kind of sneak in there as well. But yeah, you see at moments Hisoka's own reactions, right, and it's usually just a subtle shift in his eyes, right? Just to kind of establish, okay, yeah, he's also thinking, man. Hisoka's not some, he's not some scrub. Even though he's spun that fake narrative really quite masterfully, in my opinion, he still understands, right, that of course he'll still be suspicious, right? And he knows Killua's studying him, and he knows that Killua's thinking, and he knows the rest are, of course, going to be a little bit suspicious as well, more than a little bit suspicious. I mean, think about the one guy, right? From his perspective, he's kind of responsible for these children, isn't he? Or he might feel a responsibility for these children. Now, again, that being said, I'm not implying that, okay, he thinks that these kids are, I don't know, not up to standard or anything, because, at the end of the day, you have to be up to standard to be on this island in the first place. But still, he appears to be, I don't know, a good guy, kind of, right? So I feel like, he must have felt really, really quite strange. And I mean, he did look really quite uncomfortable. He felt uncomfortable. He even voiced it, I mean, look at it from his perspective. He doesn't know Bisky's actually a mature woman. He has no idea. So right now, there's a naked guy, a naked fellow, right, who has no intentions of covering up. He's just letting it all out there. He's comfortable in his own skin. I mean, listen, I'll talk about it. It's Hisoka has quite the appearance in this episode, right? But I think one thing that is so clear, and I'm sure most people can relate or can agree on this, is that Hisoka is a scene stealer. He is. There is something about his presence. Anytime he's on screen, I get excited, because I know the moment Hisoka becomes part of the equation, it's about to be exciting. It's about to, create tension. And I think at this point, it's safe to say that he actually is an integral part of the cast, of the supporting cast, right? He is just a fantastic impact character. And, his role in the story, his role in the character progressions of Gon and Killua, and again, for us, the audience as well, I think it's quite a distinct role that this character plays, right? He comes in pretty much every single arc, and he has an impact, right? And, through his, I don't know, his presence and his experiences, Gon and Killua kind of get to have a different take on things. They get to learn about a different perspective on things, right? You can have people like, Sensei Wing. You can have people like Bisky. Though, of course, I'm not saying that Bisky is not nuanced or anything. Bisky, yeah, she's quite the character herself, isn't she? Like I said, these comparisons between Bisky and Hisoka, I think, those are legitimate comparisons at this point. I kind of dabbled in that a few episodes ago, and then, episode by episode, it became really quite clear. Okay, there's a lot of similarities there. There are, but there's also a few key differences as well, right? But going back to the point I was trying to make a little bit earlier, or a few seconds ago rather, you need people like Hisoka as well, right? I firmly believe that he is crucial. He really is quite crucial in Gon and Killua's growth as well, right? As an impact character, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. Because again, he is able to provide a totally different perspective, right? A much needed perspective as well, right? Perhaps the darker side of things, yet the really present side of things as well, right? It's not all sunshine and rainbows out there. It's not, right? 68 episodes in, it's really quite clear, that the world of Hunter x Hunter is, in many ways, really quite grounded in the sense that it's nasty. It's nasty out there, right? Not Phantom Troop, the York New City arc, it did a lot of lifting in that sense, in terms of establishing the world, or the nature of the world of this anime, of this story, right? So I think, Hisoka's inclusion is always one that is exciting to me, at least, right? And I'm sure many of you can relate, but also listen, seeing how things kind of play out in this specific appearance of Hisoka, I understand if people just don't like him. But see, that being said, at the least, surely everyone can see that this is an interesting character, right? A fascinating character. One that certainly spices things up, certainly, it's a type of presence or character that does elicit certain feelings, right? Yes, his actions, certain actions can make people uncomfortable. That can make us, the audience, uncomfortable. And of course, this is not by mistake or anything. This is by design. Togashi clearly wrote this character for this reason. He clearly wanted to introduce this type of presence, right? And listen, at this point, again, 68 episodes in, I have a grasp on the type of humor Togashi is open to. He's a bit of a troll. He can be a bit of a troll, right? He loves a bit of trolling. I think it's clear at this point. You could even say maybe he has a bit of a perverse sense of humor at times. But going back to the ending of that episode there, as they exit the city of love, I believe, and the city itself is such, I don't know, it's like a living trope, isn't it? There's a lot of romance tropes at play, and it's really quite meta, right? Because us, the audience, knows it, but then certain characters within the story itself know it too, and you see that Hisoka actually seems to enjoy it quite a bit, right? Mainly for the distraction that it provides. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit charming, to see Hisoka just kind of call out each incident, each, cliche or each trope, right? And kind of, I don't know, telling them, oh, you should have done this, or if you did this, it could have played out like this. I don't know. I found it charming, and I don't know. Maybe some of you might be, put off by my, love for this character, for Hisoka, right? But listen, at the end of the day, you need one thing you certainly need to know about me, and I'm sure many of you know this by now, because many of you have been around for years at this point. I'm open to a lot. I'm open to pretty much everything as far as characters go. And a lot of times, characters like Hisoka can be some of the most fascinating characters. Even now, as I think about it, many of the characters I've really enjoyed over the years have been characters that might be considered despicable, right? The things that they are capable of can be despicable, right? antagonists, perhaps. Hell, one time, someone in the comments tried to have a go at me for not really taking to Light Yagami, for not really liking Light Yagami. And they tried to tell me the types of characters I like. I guess they just kind of assumed, oh, okay, just because Light Yagami does despicable things, this guy doesn't seem to like him one bit. No. The reason I didn't really take to Light Yagami or like him as a character is because I found that character to be insufferable and juvenile. I just honestly did not think it lived up to all of that hype as, one of the greatest anime characters of all time, right? That was the setup. That was just, I don't know, that was the sell on this character, Light Yagami, for years. It just didn't happen, for me at least. And I remember telling this person, you don't know me one bit, right? Because I do like characters that are, or, I've liked plenty of characters that are capable of despicable things. But yeah, going back to the City of Love, right? It's super tropey. It certainly has that, setup of, oh, okay, you can make all your dreams come true. You can, start life again, a new life for yourself. And I suppose that's usually the sell on isekai anime, isn't it? Right? Or it's one of the tropes of isekai anime, right? Restarting life, having another go at life, right? At a different life, even. So, there is something about that genre that does kind of pull me in, because I remember, years and years ago, back in high school, even before high school, the books I used to read, my imagination used to be just really, really quite active. And I remember, always thinking, just how incredible it could be to be transported into the world of the books. The same thing kind of applied to, film and, shows, some shows, gaming, the worlds of games and all of that. So I suppose some of that pull to experiencing an isekai anime kind of comes from that as well, from years and years ago, decades ago at this point. I've always had a really active imagination. But yeah, they end up exiting the city. And also, of course, Hisoka's texture surprise is at play, right? It was able to kind of put out that fire, right? That Hisoka noticed. He certainly noticed Killua, Killua's gears turning and him really kind of trying to figure things out. Now, I'll be honest, I think it didn't need to be, explained. It kind of goes back and it shows you that, okay, he's using texture surprise or how he actually changed it. It felt like it's really being spoon-fed there. And again, it's perhaps for a specific demographic as well. I think him showing his fingers behind his back, rather, I think that was enough, right? I don't think I actually had to go back and give us a full flashback scene of him actually changing the names. But, it is what it is. But yeah, the thing is, as impressive as Killua is, and he is really quite impressive, he was able to put together quite a bit about Hisoka and his, time, or how exactly he's been spending his time and his attitude, and, just picking up on really subtle details, and then ultimately figuring out that, okay, Hisoka's been bored because he's not doing anything actively, right? Right now, he's just hanging back, and for that reason, he is bored. And this city, the City of Love, is something that is able to kind of give him a bit of a distraction, some entertainment. But Killua did not have all the information, so he can be wrong. He is allowed to be wrong, right? He can reach that conclusion because he doesn't know about texture surprise. And as of this point, Killua is going to maybe step back a bit, right? In terms of, Hisoka and his motives and all of that. But, ultimately, at the end of the day, they're never going to completely trust Hisoka, right? That just wouldn't be, I don't know, that wouldn't be the right thing to do anyways. And you see that Bisky also suspects that Hisoka is not being truthful, right? Not that he's lying, but he's not being completely truthful about his motives and all of that. But yeah, Bisky's reactions to Hisoka are really quite interesting as well. Some of them you can see are clearly her playing things up, right? She's playing the part. But also at that one point, it looked like she was legitimately drooling over Hisoka, the naked Hisoka that's standing in front of them. I mean, listen, Hisoka is an absolute specimen, right? I mean, there's other specimens in this episode as well. There is a reintroduction of Razor I loved how they reintroduced him, right? Us the audience saw him already, but I think it was so effective to introduce him in that manner once again, right? I love the shots, the really specific angles that are highlighting his, again, impressive build, right? He's a specimen, all right. And his athletic build specifically, and it all made sense at the end of the day, right? As I expected, yeah, he's into athletics, right? All of this competition is based in sports, right? A competition of sports. Hell, at one point he said this line of dialogue. I think he said something like, let's have a contest," right? Something along those lines. There, he really truly felt like a character out of Pokemon, like a gym leader, or just someone that is a bit of a special character that you come across, right? And you click on the character, and then the first line of dialogue is, let's have a contest, that kind of thing, But yeah, going back to Hisoka, right, and him being comfortable in his skin in front of people, and three of them being children at that. Yeah, this dude is diced. There is no body fat at all, right? I mean, some of these shots are super, super explicit almost, right? But the thing is, they do that thing of, okay, you should be able to see his package, right? You should be able to see it because there's certain angles that pull the camera really far back and you see all of him. But, it's kind of like that Ken doll thing, it's just like nothing there. But there is something there. Hell, the crazy thing is, he might have had an erection, right? And that might be the reason Bisky was drooling, because it looks like Gon and Killua's eyes track up a bit, right? Now, I don't know, man. Is that the case? Are Gon and Killua looking at Hisoka legitimately have an erection in real time in front of them? I mean, if you look at the eyes, it certainly tells a story, doesn't it? I mean, oh man. Yeah. I mean, listen, I know. I can just tell that the comment section for this one, it must be quite the interesting one. Oh, also, let me kind of finish my point about the guy and him being in the situation, right? He might feel a little bit concerned in this moment. He even called Hisoka a perv, right? So from his perspective, it looks like, this guy who may or may not have an erection in front of them, in real time, right? Because again, he noticed that Gon and Killua have, grown quite a bit, right? I'm not speaking, physically, but I mean, sure, yeah, they've grown physically as well, most likely. But in terms of strength and experience and all of that, he even does like a quick test, right? And he sees through their aura, right? Their Nen aura that, oh, okay, yeah, this is, they're coming along nicely, and it appears that experiencing that growth, right, or understanding that, okay, they've actually progressed quite a bit, actually gave him a growth of his own. Right? Oh god, oh man, Hisoka, come on, my guy. But yeah, in terms of having another go at Razor and his 14 devils, having Hisoka is a bit of a game changer as well, right? Again, there is a reminder of his abilities right at the end there, right? Now, he didn't use bungee gum here, but bungee gum could be really quite useful because it's sports, and sports has a lot of equipment, right? So bungee gum could be really quite useful, right? But of course, it's not just sports. They spice it up a bit by introducing Nen as well, right? You see the one contest, right? The boxing match, the two emitters that step in. But yeah, I'm really quite excited to see Razor's reaction to, the new team that kind of shows up, right? For the second shot at this. And yeah, he understood almost immediately. Okay, okay, they're throwing it. And he actually even found it quite impressive, right? He liked that approach. They're throwing it now because they understand that, okay, this group is not going to be able to actually do something here. The majority of them are not going to be able to compete. Hell, you could even say that maybe Killua felt that, okay, some of these people could get hurt. So, let's kind of save them from that as well, potentially. But yeah, I love how Razor just picked up on it. And also, there's a bit of a reaction, isn't there, to Gon, or a name drop of Gon, because Gon steps up right at that one point and Killua calls out his name and tells him, no, not for this one, take a step back. And, it cuts straight to Razor. So at this point, he's registered. Okay, this is Jing's son, is it? So that's cool. That's cool. And I'm excited to see how that progresses once they do make their return to that, fantastic gym, I don't know, location that they have. But yeah, let's tackle that scene now. Hisoka walking behind Gon and Killua. And then, of course, the camera really kind of focuses on Gon and Killua's bums right there behind, their glutes. You could use all kinds of terms. And of course, it's Hisoka looking at them. It's as clear as that. He is looking at them, right? He's looking at their bums. You cannot dispute that. You simply can't. I don't think anyone can. Even the most hardcore Hisoka fans cannot dispute that. He is looking. And the thing is, this right here might be the first time that, you can bring in the argument of, okay, maybe there is something a bit more to it, than him being just attracted to, people that have potential, that are destined for great potential, right? And again, he latches onto that potential, right, for growth, for greatness. And then, of course, that is something that gives him great pleasure, right? And again, I think it's been established really quite clearly and effectively that it's not a matter of the individual, right? Age, sex, none of that matters. It's just how impressive they might be, right? Just how impressed he might be. I've seen him take an interest in a super old dude, right? Netero, because of his, again, his incredible experience, clearly. I've seen him take an interest in Crollo, right? I mean, he's taken great interest in Crollo, right? And he had one of his moments. Back in the York New City arc at the hideout, at HQ, at Troop HQ, right? And I've seen him take an interest in Gon and Killua, who happen to be children, right? So automatically that just makes it creepy, or that makes for uncomfortable situations. But again, I think the thing that the show has really established firmly at this point is that you could be old as hell, right? Or you could be young, super young, right? He does not care. He just considers them all equal as far as taking an interest in someone that is, really quite formidable, really quite impressive, that has great potential for growth and greatness and all of that, right? So yeah, I think, I don't think that's anything controversial to say, right? That's just my, takeaway from the series, from the storytelling. But of course, Hisoka is a bit of a freak. Hell, not just a bit of a freak. He is a freak. He is meant to make people uncomfortable. He is meant to be a character that doesn't quite fit. I mean, I suppose conventional approach dictates that you find him super creepy, and it's as simple as that. It's clear cut. You find him creepy. It's just that, and you move on, and you kind of keep him in that corner, and you just hate him, right? I feel like that might be the conventional approach, right? But I feel like the character itself is really quite nuanced, right? Yes. Listen. Let me make this clear. He is capable of making people feel uncomfortable. Hell, I was uncomfortable. You saw me. But listen, I'm not just going to just give up on the character. Like I said, there's been plenty of characters in the past that have made me uncomfortable, that have done despicable things. But I simply cannot just take that approach of oh God, no, no, I don't want to see none of this character. Get him out of here. I just don't think like that. But for a lot of people, it might be that simple. For a lot of people, it might be black and white. It just might be. And the thing is, over the years of consuming all kinds of storytelling, all kinds of different mediums, the one thing I've come across is that, sometimes people are afraid to like certain characters. They feel like they might be judged for liking certain characters or gravitating, towards certain characters, even if they don't agree with, everything that character is doing. I certainly don't agree with everything that Hisoka does in some of his proclivities, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I'm just not afraid to like the characters that I like. I mean, I certainly call it out if needed, but that doesn't mean I'm afraid to find all kinds of characters interesting. So at the end of the day, I don't think I'm defending Hisoka or anything. You're not going to see me disputing certain calls about Hisoka, right, in the comment section or anything. Listen, I'm sure the pedo claims are going to be in full flow in the comment section, right? You're not gonna see me try to refute any of those, right? Because there is a case, there could be a case for that, right? It's ambiguous. I mean, sure, you could even argue that it's a bit more than ambiguous, but I don't think at any point you can actually pinpoint and say for sure, have it be clear cut. Okay, yep, he's an absolute pedophile, and he is simply attracted to just children, and that if he could, he would get physical with them. Hell, there's potentially even a bit of nuance there in that scene. Right? Let's kind of try to actually, let's try to see if you can kind of extract something else out of it. I feel that he also did that, right? I think he also did that because I think he knew that they'll probably notice, right? Or maybe he is doing another test, right? Are they going to be able to, sense this, pick up on this? And, look at that, they picked up on it, right? That's another possibility. Right, that he is doing this actively in the open, right? He's not trying to hide it or anything. Perhaps as a bit of a test as well for Gon and Killua. Are they going to pick up on my really specific energy or the intentions I'm giving off at the moment? Something along those lines, perhaps. Hell, it's possible that he noticed a change in the body language as well. Right, it's possible. I'm kind of throwing a few possibilities out there. And then finally, that incident did kind of get him to be beside the other guy, the short-haired guy, and yeah, he was able to kind of get a bit of information out of it as well, kind of picking his brain about the spells and how they actually managed all of this. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to defend Hisoka. I'm not some kind of Hisoka apologist. It's really a simple case of, listen, I'm able to take the character for what it is and enjoy the hell out of it. This is one of the best characters of this story. It is. It simply is. And also, finally, one more possibility, one of the many other possibilities that could be at play here is that, I mentioned Togashi's sense of humor being really quite clear at this point. It could be him just trolling again. It could be him just kind of, doing this specifically to, kind of get a reaction out of the audience as well. It's a possibility, right? And, one of the reasons I kind of bring this up is because if you go to the Hunterpedias, and even the recent ones for Greed Island. Now, I'm not sure if Togashi has a role in, the little chibi animations or anything. A lot of them, listen, I didn't see anything about it, but you could see in my reactions, a lot of them are, I don't know, not sexual, but, a lot of them really, really kind of lean into, Gon and Killua and the crush element. Right, the blushing, and a lot of times, they lose their clothing as well, both Gon and Killua, or you're one or the other. But I feel like it happens quite a bit in those Hunterpedia moments. And, I feel like there's a distinct running theme. But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. I mean, I enjoyed that quite a bit, discussing that episode. And I'm really quite excited for the follow-up because, the prospect of an ensemble cast is always so exciting to me, especially one that is made up of a lot of fantastic characters, a lot of different character types coming together to bounce off of each other. Now you've got Hisoka into the mix. I know it's just about to be a lot of fun stuff, right? It's one of the reasons the York New City arc is one of the greatest arcs I've experienced in anime, right? Because of that incredible ensemble cast dynamic in that arc. Right? But yeah, if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access or full opacity, or perhaps even time-based full length, consider checking out the Patreon page and potentially supporting the channel. If you are interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment, also links to social media. If that's your thing, right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 69, almost at 70. Until then, take it easy.